Kamen Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of Kamen Rider Ex-Aid episode 22. To start off here real quick, I'll probably mention it again at the end just in case someone misses it, because you never know. But it's just the beginning, so you shouldn't miss it. But this will probably be my last regular Ex-Aid review. I almost just didn't do this one and then just mentioned it in Q Ranger's review, but then I don't know how many people watch both. But so I'm gonna do like a series wrap-up when it's done, and then I'll probably start reviewing the next Rider series whenever that happens, and see how that goes regularly. And there's a slight chance I could do like a one-off or like two-off review if there's like a major event episode that I think warrants talking about. But for now, I'm kind of just done with Ex-Aid's crap, to be honest. I'm still gonna watch it for completion's sake and for the podcast, but I really don't want to spend any more time on this than I have to. I just don't enjoy talking about it as much as I do the others. Even like with Power Rangers, when I'm not liking it, I'm more passionate about Power Rangers than I am Rider, I guess. So I'm kind of done with it. And it's just, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this in a way that doesn't sound like I don't like opposing opinions. It's just more like with Ex-Aid, it feels like Dino Charge, where I feel like there's not a whole lot of good discussion going on, whereas I feel like I'm just wrong because I don't worship the ground the show walks on. And I just was tired of that with Dino Charge, and I felt like I kind of got out of that with Ninja Steel, so I don't feel like going through that again. So, I don't know, but unless there's a huge outcry, which I'm doubting, this will be my last regular one. Like I said, I'll do a finale thing for sure. I'll probably try to start regular ones for next Rider. And like I said, maybe events. We'll have to see how the show goes. But for now, this is my last one for a while. I'm still going to do regular Q Ranger reviews though. Anyway, that lasted about 2 minutes. But so, this episode was kind of okay for me. I think it did some good things. It was like mainly an exposition episode. Like, it's hard to tell, because that's why another reason I want to stop doing these reviews, because it's hard for me to grade these, because I kind of struggle in my head between like objectively and then my personal opinion. Because objectively this episode did some things neat and like explained some things, but I don't like the explanations we got. Not even in a way that like, oh, that's just not my cup of tea. It's just like, I thought it was not good writing, I guess. Like, Dan basically reveals, clarifies on some things we already knew, which is that he infected Imu with the virus, but basically it came down to that he was like, as we knew, making games for the company when he was younger, and he got a letter from Emu where he had like ideas for a game, and it was just these kind of generic drawings for game ideas, and he got so mad that there was someone else out there with ideas that he thought was comparable to his. I don't know what he thought was so amazing about the ideas. Maybe it was in the writing, because they just look like kids' drawings from the refrigerator. But so, instead of thinking, oh man, there's someone else out there better than me, better step up my game and make an even better game, he's like, I'm gonna play a long game where I infect this dude with a virus that will take time to mature and then infect everyone else and have all the other writers fight each other and later for some reason, and in between I'll do a lot of monologuing, laughing, and shouting. That seems logical. Like, it's weird because I thought of two things in this. I thought of that, how stupid it was just in general, like instead of just trying harder at his job. And then I thought of like, okay, well he's unhinged, right? So like, then I was thinking of like a generic CSI episode where you would see a storyline like this. But usually when a storyline like this happens, when you get someone that's disturbed reacting to something, like a logical person, as I said, would think, okay, I need to do better at this, and you know, this person's motivating me to do better. Or they would get depressed and be like, man, I can't do better than this. So that would be like a normal person reaction that wouldn't do anything crazy. But then like in a CSI episode, you would see like a teenager go crazy and like try to kill the other person that made this idea. And like, I'm not saying that's what Dan should have done, but I'm saying like, even for like crazy person logic, it's like, instead of trying to resolve this immediately, he comes up with this really convoluted lawn game. I don't know, I thought it was really stupid. And on top of all that, he purposely infected himself with a virus, and basically Emma was treating him, and I know people are like, yes, he has the Hippocratic Oath, whatever. I hate that plot of when the main rider's so naive and trusts someone and then ends up getting betrayed. It's like, I could see it coming a mile away. It was just so stupid, and I hate it, and it's also part of that thing where, honestly, you fighting as a writer to destroy this is not being a doctor. Anybody could do it. I know, I get it, it's a virus, but the act of transforming and fighting is not a surgery, it has nothing to do with it, no matter how many times you make puns or whatever. It's just, I don't know exactly what I would have wanted out of that, because there is the different situation with him being a doctor and it being a virus. I understand that, but it's not even a problem necessarily specific to this series. It's specific to a lot of Toku in recent years, is I just hate that trope of when you can see it coming. You're like, this main character is being a naive punk, and this guy's gonna fool him, and you can see it coming, and the fact that you know it's gonna happen, and the fact that they're doing it is all very frustrating. And I'm just not a fan of Dan. He's just such an obnoxious villain. Like, right at the end, is just his overacting, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm kind of over a lot of it. Also, a side note, I mentioned this last week, but I kind of wished that, I mentioned how I kind of wish that Brave and Snipes level 50s were separate, and I never wished that more than this week when they had to, like, trade off, because I just realized, unless, like, later we get two of them for whatever reason, we're never going to get to see them both using it. It's not about, like, seeing them using it side by side thing. It's just kind of weirdly handicapping. I don't know. I just happened to think about that in this episode. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Like I said, it had some decent-ish explanation stuff. I'm just not a fan of the explanations we're getting. It just, for me, I'm not really a fan of much of the characters, and so much of the plot, like, doesn't make sense, and not like in a I don't understand it way. I understand what they're saying, but I don't think it makes sense in a realistic way, if that makes any sense. Like, because I've had people point out to me, like, on Twitter and stuff, like, well, you don't understand this. I'm like, yeah, I understand it, but, like, it's not a good motivation, if that makes any sense. Like, I understand what they're saying, but what they're saying doesn't make sense, if that makes any sense. It's hard to describe. Like, it's weird. I was thinking about in this episode how there's been series of, like, Toku or even other series where, like, I don't like the main characters, so I'll kind of, like, jokingly root for the villains. Like, Ninja's kind of a good example, because, well, that's kind of, I don't know, neither of the sides are very good. But, like, in this one, I'm not rooting for anybody, because I really don't like anybody. Like, so I can't even joke about it. So, yeah. But overall, I would give this episode, like, a 6.5, because it at least did some decent stuff. But yeah, like I said, this is my last regular one for a bit. Starting next week, it'll just be Q Ranger, and then I'll be back for a finale thing, and possibly 1 to 2 random one-offs, if there's something significant. I should have done it, the final episode for the form next week, but whatever. Until next time, make sure you have the Crazy Podcast, writers.com, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.